why does anyone listen to this show? It's like, who would ever think that we've got any of our shit together?
After editing this every week for the last year and a half, I wonder when anyone listens to this. Captain's Pod, Stardate 71, 73, 23.1. Welcome aboard the Starship Enterprise, and thank you for joining us as we take a brief short leave from the world of CinemaSins to explore the universe of Star Trek. I'm your Captain Ian Whittington, and with me as always, she keeps her pot hidden in the ceiling, and don't you dare question its origins. It's Ambassador Deneé. Don't know why I'm musical, I'm putting the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllables. How are you?
Dude.
How's your pot?
I need some. That's to manage, to just cope with, to deal with. Yeah, I'm feeling a little dehydrated.
You should drink some. Yeah. A pot's not going to help with that. That might dehydrate you more.
What do you mean? I thought it's like you like if I was a Morphe person, that there's something about it where I can kind of like feel better about myself after I pot it.
Right. Okay. No, we've moved. We've changed from pot to pot, and I didn't realize. Yes.
Which pot are we talking about now?
Yes. It would allow you to rehydrate. Okay, Ambassador, you ready for some corrections before we get into the proper show?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Funko Pops. Okay, people. As of yet, none of you have called me out on this, but I just had this niggling feeling that I should do some research. Last week in the intro, I said that Funko Pops, some of them, if they rattle, you crack their head open and there's like a brains and something special inside.
Yeah,
a little plastic toy.
And I questioned that.
And you were right to do so, because there is a video, and this is where I got the memory from, where they crack it open, there's stuff inside. It's fake. It's a fake.
So what's in your Funko Pop then?
Little bits of silicone. So as during the process, they are hollow. Little bits of silicone snap off, solidify, and then rattle. That's what the rattling is. The myth came from the rattling, and then someone said, "Oh, look, there's brains inside," and then decided to make a thing out of it.
I like how you made that person sound, maybe like they don't know what they're talking about, but you also believed it.
Yeah, no, I totally believed it. I am the dumbass here. Yeah. So, correction, to my knowledge, and I swear if somebody now videos them cutting open a Funko Pop and there is something inside, I will lose it. I'm not correcting this again. Correction
yes, you are.
No,
100%.
I will 100%.
Okay, yeah, and if you want me to correct it, email me, Deneé at cinemasins.com. That's DENEE at cinemasins.com. Just send me an email. Anything that you want me to correct on the show, you don't have to go to captainspod at cinemasins.com. You can just send it directly to me, and then I'll bring it to the captain in a debrief. Yeah,
just cut me out entirely. I think that's the way to go, to be honest.
Yeah.
Correction number 2. Now, we've mentioned the Great Link, the goopiness, the changelings, and what their motivations are and why they look kind of clumpy and stuff. And
I don't know what their motivations are. I don't remember that part. Just world domination?
Yeah, well, we've discussed how there is this disease that went through the Great Link.
Oh, yes.
And they're trying to find a cure to it.
Yes.
Odo, who we love, at the end of DS9, rejoined the Link and had a cure. I totally missed this. So technically, the Great Link has been cured. But this is only a semi-correction, because if this is an offshoot of the Changelings, maybe they weren't part of the Great Link and didn't get the cure. So maybe that's why they look chunky. And maybe they are searching for a cure because they didn't get the cure from Odo.
Semi-connection, chunky. This just sounds like I need to go to the doctor. There's pills
they
you can take
absolutely should go to the doctor. Yeah.
For inability to...
That's a good prediction. I think Beverly's going to cure them.
Oh, okay.
Because she's a healer.
And also her son is a changeling.
Yeah, I'm sticking to that. I think
she's motivated.
Yeah, he's got some changing stuff in him.
If there is a symbiotic thing happening, it would make sense because we have that Captain Wacky Girl.
Captain Vatic?
Yeah, Captain Vatic. Sorry, I don't know why. Why I just did that. I'm sorry.
With this week's episode is called Imposters.
Well, that's a letdown.
Yeah, no shit. Of course it's called Imposters. This entire season could be called Imposters.
Okay. How many people do you think aren't who they are already?
Oh, more than we know. There's no way there's no way they're going to resist pulling a Battlestar Galactica on us.
What does that mean?
So in Battlestar Galactica, there's Cylons, and they're robots that can take the form of humans, and it's like the Dash thing. They're like physical flesh and blood, but they're still robots. In like season 3 or something, they dropped that 2 of the main characters had been Cylons the whole time, and they didn't even realize they were Cylons. And then they had to come to terms with the fact that they weren't the real them. So there's no way. So our characters may not even know that they are changelings. It could be that.
That's impossible because they have to pot.
Who knows? Oh no, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, they must
they would know.
Yeah.
So
at least one character, at least one of the main crew is a changeling.
Jack doesn't know he's a changeling. That's the one that doesn't know.
Yeah, he knows something's up.
Something's
he doesn't
wrong.
know what. Something's
the parts
going
of him
down.
that are changeling are malfunctioning because he never joined the Great Link because he didn't know he needed to be cured.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
But we should probably actually watch the show to find out what really happens.
I mean, we could just speculate about this for the next 90 minutes, or we could watch the episode and get some more information. Okay, everyone, we'll see you in 10 Forward for a full debrief. To beam to the Titan. Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab a drink from the replicator and share our immediate thoughts and feelings on the episode we just watched together. Most important question first. What would you like from the replicator, Ambassador?
Do I have to consume it or can I just actually have anything like...
You can have anything.
Today anything I can have anything.
Anything you like.
As soon as I say it, you're going to say, no, you can't have that.
Most likely.
Well, I don't want to do that.
It's the best part of the show. Hands down.
I would like to have something. I literally can't think of anything.
I'm not letting you off the hook. We're not moving on until you think of something.
Okay. What are you going to say?
I would like some Bajoran spring wine.
Okay. That was mentioned. That would have been clever.
That would have been, yeah.
I'll have two. I'll have one of those too.
Wow. Nice. Okay, so you do have an opportunity to be original. Give us the plot synopsis for this week's episode.
Fuck! How do I listen, I live 7 years in between shows with how much shit I have going on in my life right now. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised I forget about it. Okay.
Amazing. I love it because I don't remember until I'm reading the 10 Forward intro. So I don't give it away at all. It's just an incredible surprise.
Why does anyone listen to this show? It's like who would ever think that we've got any of our shit together? Maybe that's why they do listen, is we don't have our shit together.
After editing this every week for the last year and a half, I wonder when anyone listens to the show.
Guys, thanks for listening.
Yeah, we appreciate
Thank you for being here with us.
You should find better ways to spend your time.
No. Go leave a review of the show.
That's a better way to leave
your confidence in our... Okay. Synopsis. Got it. Okay. In this episode, Jack is losing his mind and becoming a straight-up murder hobo, while Picard comes face to face with somebody that he maybe loved one time. I'm not entirely sure, but the earring is important. And she's probably bad, but good, but bad, but good. And they trust each other. Why? Because why not? They're old. They don't have much time left. Might as well just, give it a good go. Beverly is somehow still working for Starfleet. Raffi is somehow not killing Worf. Worf is somehow not killing Raffi. And we steal a ship, this time as a unified group. Today on Captain's Pod Picard, episode Imposter 5.
You're great. I think that about sums it up. No notes. Yeah. There's revelations this week. There's some surprise visits from the history of TNG. There is conspiracies abound. But, Ambassador, overall thoughts and feelings on this week's episode?
It's a kind of like a little bit of a like a hard shift down, but not. But then just when you think that maybe you shifted gears down a little bit too far and the car is starting to go, and try to catch up. No, it's fine. The momentum is okay. This is the episode that tells us the direction the rest of the season is going. So this is when the writers reveal, more information about what's happening. This is when it's like, okay, we're setting up for the finale now. So we've established how we all got here. Now we're setting up for the next episodes that lead us into the end of the series and this legacy kind of moment for Picard. So it's exciting because we have the Titan, we have Shaw, we have the crew. We kind of have the only people we really wanted to have anyway. And now they're on the run from Starfleet and they have a mystery to solve in the next few episodes. And they're probably going to be using people that they trust to do it, which means we finally have our reason for Picard to reach out to all the people that he needs to reach out to so that we can see fucking LaForge.
I was going to say, that was a very long way, a long road to where is Geordi?
Where's Geordi?
Where the fuck is Geordi? Yeah, I mean, we're at the halfway point now, so your setup should be well and truly there. You should be in the meat and potatoes of it. 5 episodes left to do what you're going to do. That's always kind of a pivotal point in a season. The Star Trek fan in me really had a great time with it. Had a lot of fun. Really, really enjoyed it. The story enjoy it in me was incredibly frustrating. And as I will preface, it's not necessarily a bad thing. You need episodes like this which connect some dots, and give you a bit more...
Wait, why was that a ha?
Oh, because everyone in this episode said connect the dots. So it's been repeated in Jack's head.
Did.
Ro Laren was connecting the dots. It's a repeated phrase.
Okay. Yeah. You probably think I would have caught onto that, but I didn't.
It's the sort of thing you'll usually latch onto pretty firmly. This was a connect the dots episode. Still plenty of questions, but we're now not wondering what the question is. We know what the question to ask is finally. That's what this episode kind of did for us. But it didn't progress as much otherwise. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying I was a little bit frustrated with, and it might have been like the jump in pacing between Raffi and Worf and then back to the Titan. A lot of heavy conversations which were needed, but all kind of happening all at once. And then by the end of the episode, I wasn't, in terms of the mystery, I wasn't progressed a lot more because I think we were a couple of episodes ahead. We knew that the changelings were the heart of this conspiracy. It's kind of like the characters are now catching up with us and confirming how deeply embedded the conspiracy is. So I'm fine with it setting up the rest of the season. I think we're in a good space now to get to episode 6 and then kind of attack this conspiracy and what's happening next. But I did find myself kind of like looking around and feeling like I was a few steps ahead of the episode. That might be unfair. It's kind of just, that was my emotions through the episode.
My perspective with the introduction of Ro into this episode was also that it's a moment to kind of close an arc for Picard.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Bringing in something and kind of giving this a moment that the fans will really enjoy. Mm-hmm. For me, I barely remember this person. I barely remember. I think...
Well, that was going to be my first question is, do you remember Ro at all? Like, do you remember anything about the actor, character? Did they seem familiar to you?
No. Unfortunately not, but the writers did a great job of giving me enough information to pull the emotion out of the lines that, Stewart is delivering, and kind of like I felt obviously the turmoil of the two of them. I felt the distrust from the two of them. And of course, we're all in changeling brain going, she's a changeling, right? Like everyone is up on the chopping block for being a disposable changeling at this point in time. And it would have been an easy kind of reach. And because she was being so vague in some ways with her answers to her questions, because she was also asking vague things, thinking that maybe even Picard would be a changeling. So it kind of had this intellectual back and forth until they had the safety of 10 Forward, to really kind of let their guard down. I didn't really understand where their conversations and where their relationship was going to be, where the details of the relationship was going to be going and why it was important to me. So shows do this all the time and it's totally fine, especially in a show like this, which is a legacy show for the fans. So of course they're going to be bringing in characters that the fans want to see or would be interested in seeing. And in this case, I thought they did a great job of it, even for those of us who don't remember. But yeah, that kind of, what they did cleverly was, even though maybe the pacing kind of slowed down because we're getting into like history and relationship and drama, interpersonal turmoil, another character coming in, that kind of thing. But they gave her the role of introducing that Picard and Riker were in trouble, introducing the confirmation of the changeling, infiltrating Starfleet all the way to the top, giving them, details of the investigation, and then closing up a relationship arc that maybe when Picard ends, fans would have been like, I wonder whatever happened to so-and-so. So they're kind of like, they gave her character a lot to do instead of like making it a whole bunch of people doing it. And I thought that was smart because otherwise it would have slowed the momentum down even more. But certainly their conversations and was one of the driving factors of what was happening on the Titan. And in this episode, we go back to Rafi and Worf. So you have them also kind of getting to the next stage of their investigation. So it was kind of an information episode. And those are absolutely needed at times. I don't think it was done poorly. They also really ramped up the Jack losing his mind or turning into a murder robot or whatever's going on with Jack. They really gave us more
Winter
there.
Soldier shit going on.
Even though it felt like a little bit of a downshift, like I said, it was like, oh, no, that was fine. We still have momentum. We're still going places. And so I thought it was really well done because an information episode, like you have to have them and how you do it is really important. So there was humor in this episode. There was emotion, like there was regret and fear and mystery. And it had like all of the kind of interesting elements to it. So I liked this episode. It was just, I don't know why. I'm just like, let's fucking go.
Yeah, I think this is always going to happen when you have a season-long mystery that spans 10 episodes. It's sometimes you can be like, hey, can we like put the gas down and get to the mystery? That's human nature. We need to know the answers to mysteries. So stringing mysteries out across 10 hours is a lot. You gotta find ways to keep us hooked. And I am still hooked. I am still knee deep in this. I just begging for a little bit more. And yeah, we get a little bit more about Jack. But I think I feel like that's the only big thing for this season that we did get progressed a little bit is that there is something really deep going on with Jack. Everything else I feel like we kind of knew, but it's waiting for the characters to get pulled in and kept up to scratch. However, my favourite part of the episode is Ro Laren and Michelle Forbes' return. And it is a really, really great storyline. If you're going to pick a character from TNG to wrap up the storyline from and to complete an arc, Beverly and Ro are really, really great ones because from season 5, I think, onwards, Ro was an occasional cast member. And her departure was, I think, the penultimate episode of season 7. It was the second to last episode or the third to last episode. And for background, she's a Bajoran. And they have been abused and invaded and subjugated by the Cardassians. And we've mentioned before on the show, the Maquis was this kind of terrorist organization that did the dirty things to try and fight back against the Cardassians and do the things that Starfleet weren't prepared to do. Ro was sent undercover to try and find their leader, but instead was turned to join the Maquis and betrayed Picard. And they did have this really intimate scene. Anyway, that's when Picard was suspecting that she might be having shifted loyalties. So it was a real powerful conversation between them where he's trying to remind her of duty. And eventually, she pulls a phaser on Riker, beams him to safety, and then leaves and joins the Maquis. And that's the last we see of her. So to bring her back is really, really clever. To wrap up that storyline, one of the demons that Picard is definitely dealing with, because everyone was like, you shouldn't have Ro in Starfleet because she's already been kicked out once before because of disobeying orders, which resulted in a ton of people dying. So everyone, including Riker, is like, fuck her, she should be in prison. And Picard's like, let's give her another chance. And that is then thrown back in his face when she does the same shit again and betrays Starfleet. So what I love about this episode is that I could feel that they did a great job of communicating all of that and communicating that complicated history. And then also managing to come to a resolution by the end of the episode that for me felt really organic and natural. On top of who's the changeling here, getting through that conversation as well. It's my favourite part of the episode, and I think it's handled beautifully for fans and for someone new coming to the show, which is kind of, you're not new, but you're new to Ro. And I think it worked for you as well, didn't it? So I think that's not a easy trick to pull off.
It's not an easy thing to do. No, especially when you're trying to summarize so much history, give gravity to a scene that needs to be about something else entirely, the changeling situation, and understand that you're about to kill a character. So you want to have it be meaningful punch. Because there's not going to be a next for Ro.
Because we go from, oh my God, Ro's back, that's awesome. Wait, why is Ro back? That's weird. To being an antagonist, to then, oh wait, she could be a changeling. To, she's not a changeling. We love her. It's okay that she's back in Starfleet. Her sacrifice is really meaningful. That is an arc to take in not even the full hour, because we have like 20 minutes with her. Like, that is super duper impressive. And I was a little bit confused when we went into 10 forward, because I was like, is she a changeling that's taking Picard in there to attack?
Uh-huh.
Or does she suspect that Picard is a changeling and is trying to confirm? And by the end of that, I fully believe that these two characters trust that they are who they are supposed to be. And while their history isn't resolved, there is a respect that's building there. Just, really, really great writing. Just shows once again, they can write themselves in and out of a extremely complicated multitude of corners in space. The writing is probably what I'm most impressed with in the series so far.
I think one of the things that stood out to me in that scene was Picard's hatred. He was so
he doesn't like being betrayed.
Uncomfortably hateful. This was his enemy. When he said that he'd been practicing what he was going to say to her for 30 years, that is somebody that Picard isn't the character that lets certain things go. Yes, he's going to be a leader. Yes, he's going to rally people and inspire people, and he's going to make hard decisions. But there are certain things that he will not forget. And she was able to tit for tat, toe to toe with him on those are my choices. And she kind of really pushed him on that scene, which I thought was really powerful because let me see if I can find. I think I kind of wrote down a couple of the lines that she had. She said, "You confused morality with duty, and that was your dishonor." And it was lines like that where, these kinds of television shows, they put you kind of as the little shoulder viewer on top of their hero. And Picard was often that person for me while watching TNG. And they can kind of vilify another character to inspire your main character to make decisions and choices and kind of qualify or justify what Picard's behavior is doing. So it's interesting to bring in a villain character as someone to trust and then give her the verbiage to back up her decisions, helping you to understand it. And they did this with Beverly earlier when she decided to have Jack as, so it's interesting because we also heard Beverly's reasoning, for keeping Jack away from Picard. And at first you're thinking that doesn't make any sense. And then you're like, oh, I can kind of see from her perspective. So they're not kind of afraid with, in I think every season of Picard so far, making Picard not be the guy that knows everything. He's been told no a lot. He's been told off a lot. He's been talked down to. He's been challenged. And so the writers are both breaking down the character and having him come to new resolutions as a person, kind of as a personal growth thing, but then also almost showing that the writing style has changed and evolved and that they're writing different depths of material for the viewer, which I think is really important.
Because when you have such a clear view of what's right and wrong, it doesn't leave a lot of wiggle room for anything in between. All Picard can see, and this is what Ro is calling out, is duty, and you got to follow orders. When what that means to her as a Bajoran, the negotiations that Starfleet are having with the Cardassians means that a lot of Bajorans and a lot of people are getting their planets were ending up in Cardassian space, which means they get no support from Starfleet. They're completely on their own. Anything could happen to them, and that's one of the big things the Maquis was fighting against. And Rose I can't side with Starfleet here because what Starfleet is doing, yes, it prevents a war, but it's also causing entire planets of people to be under Cardassian rule and having whatever done to them. And she's in good conscience, I can't do that. And Picard sees that as a personal betrayal to him and what he holds dear, instead of seeing it as she doesn't really have much of a choice here. She can't in good conscience do that. She's got to quit Starfleet and do what she's got to do. And Picard struggles understanding that there are ways to get things done that don't involve Starfleet, and he still struggles with that even after all of his all of his experience. Starfleet still defines him so much. Even with Jack, he's like, "Hey, I wonder if now that we're on good speaking terms, you could join Starfleet." And Jack's just like, "You don't learn, do you? Starfleet is still his." If you're in Starfleet, you're one of the good guys, and that's how you define yourself. And it just shows how people don't change fundamentally. No matter what Starfleet does, what it stands for still remains for Picard, and it's his metric of whether you're a good person or not. For a lot of people,
it's really smart as an arc to kind of question the systems.
It embodies a lot.
It does.
That Ro arc.
They're doing a lot. So I'm in the moment. I'm enjoying the scene. I'm watching Worf and Rafi fight. It's fucking cool. And then like you zoom out on this kind of content, you're like, man, they're hitting themes that we're not even real. We're hitting on themes that are intentional, but they're not spending a ton of time like just browbeating us with. However, now we're getting into the conspiracy theories coming true. It's time to address that Starfleet's got some shit going on, and how are we going to do that? And we're going to do that with Exocomps, guys. We're going to do it with Exocomps. Okay.
We're not fixing it with Exocomps.
I'm telling you right now, I'm super excited about some artwork that I cannot show you yet that you're going to fucking love. Exocomps are my spirit animal.
They really are.
Next week's Sin Week, when we reveal, it's going to be so fucking cool. I cannot wait. But anyway,
yes.
I thought that scene in particular was good. Well, like, let's talk about other things that you liked about this episode. There's some things I was confused about, but we'll get to that later. But let's talk about Shaw.
Yeah, I mean, Shaw's great. He's always great. He's
still fun. Okay.
He's so fun. Just humming away in the turbo lift, just like I'm really happy that you're going to get your just desserts. It's
like a big brother, right?
Oh, it really is. Like, you're finally getting in trouble with mum and dad. Finally, the kids that get away with everything, you're finally getting your comeuppance. And he's a smug bastard, but he's a great good guy antagonist because he still does the right thing. And he does just command respect in every scene. So I'm still in love with Captain Liam Shaw.
Yes, me too. And I'm glad he's still alive.
Still with us.
Now.
Come on, for now. Speaking of people in command, Jack in a Starfleet uniform did things for me as well. I was like, maybe I do want him in Starfleet. Like, that is there's something about a damn Starfleet uniform that makes you 100 billion times more attractive.
I don't know what it is, but
it was sharp.
I enjoyed it too.
It was good stuff.
Right now, my desktop background is Galadriel from Rings of Power.
Yes. Oh.
By the end of this episode, It may be Jack in uniform. I'm not sure.
Steamy look, just shooting someone in the head. I did want to make a quick note. So the alien bridge officer that is bald and has like the interesting face stuff going on that Jack shot and in his dream, and she said, "I know what you really are."
Come again?
So one of the bridge officers, she's in yellow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
who is that?
And she has like the green stuff on her. I can't remember her name, but she's the one that is, she's at one of the positions. I can't remember which one though. Not science.
I'm looking at pictures right now because I'm not going to be able to remember straight up.
She's a Hylian, if that helps.
I mean, yeah, for sure that helps because I absolutely just instinctively know how to spell Hylian.
Yeah, I know. That's
her name is, I'm almost there. Ensign Kova Rin Esmar.
There we go. Anyway, she is a Hylian, and we've seen them before in Star Trek, and I don't know why I didn't make this connection, but her species is slightly telepathic.
Oh, that makes sense that she's the communications officer.
And she's one that knows like a bajillion languages as well. It also makes it's an interesting thing that she has this kind of connection with Jack as well. There was that sideway glance as if she knew he'd had a dream.
Something's going on up there in the ticker.
Something else that's interesting about them is that the TNG episode where we see the Hylians at Quiel, this has got to be a coincidence, but I don't know. That had changelings in that episode, but it wasn't the changelings we know. It was a different species, but basically her dog gets taken over by a changeling, and I don't think it's intelligent. I think it just mimics things and then tries to eat people. But it's just interesting that the only other time we've seen a Hylian was also with changeling. So I'm just kind of putting a pin in that there may be a nod to Aquiel in this somewhere.
Aquiel, it's my new favorite drink, like Aquafina.
She's not a drink.
Other one, it's like discount Aquafina.
Could be. What else did you like about the episode?
Whoa. It's always fun to see Beverly doctoring it up. I don't know what it is about watching her on screen, but I'm fascinated by her.
Yeah.
What she has this magnetic presence.
She does.
Even in this. Oh yeah, she talks, she's confident. There's this moment when she asks Picard for permission to do an autopsy, and then she just turns and walks away. And I literally wrote a note about how that, like, her walk away was one of my favorite things.
It did things to
Why?
you.
No, Todd didn't do that kind of stuff. You know what it is? It's just a confidence. She's just walking on. She's not like an elder woman just hobbling down the hallway.
No,
she's like, I got shit to do.
Yeah.
And there's just something, I know I don't mean to repeat myself a ton, so I know I've said this before, but like, it's just, there's something really powerful about watching older people in shows. And yeah, maybe it's because I'm an old person now. You know, I'm an old woman.
You're ancient. It's true.
I'm
You can relate to
ancient
them.
woman. And I hobble around and she doesn't. Like, what am I doing wrong? You know? Oh, I know what it is. I should actually move my body sometimes.
That might.
Possibly.
Or you could try living in the 25th century and have all of the medicine available to you to be 70 but still be active.
Or drink water.
Or drink water. Please drink some water.
These are the things that maybe I should probably do.
These are the important things. I did love the old school sound effects that opened the episode. We had a
that was fun.
That was like
it
TOS.
Was totally I wrote that down.
Original series sound effects, which was interesting.
I think that was the opening shot of this episode because it's kind of like on space and then it pans back through the bridge back towards the command center. It was really kind of a cool shot, and I heard that little sounds.
The little trills. I love the sound effects. They do things to me. I enjoy it. And a good old captain's log to start the episode as well with Riker. I just missed them. I didn't realize how much I missed them in season 1 and 2, but they're back and I love it. They're great. They're exposition. They're a sin, but I love them.
How do you feel about like the revealing that the changelings are evolving? That was interesting to me, though I know nothing about them. Is this sinful? Is this interesting? Like, how do you feel about it? Because this was a big part of this episode.
There is... I would sin that in the most playful way because it's not a sin. Like, you could maybe call it convenient that we all know that the changelings are detectable and they happen to evolve away in the space of 30 years, a way to become undetectable. So that in the story, we can have this undetectable bad guy. But I'm fine with it. Like, that Beverly knows this is fucking strange. Like, evolution doesn't happen over the course of decades or centuries. It takes thousands and thousands and millions of years. So she knows that this is very peculiar, which means it's part of the mystery, and it's great. So I'm on board with it. I think if you're going to have changelings, it's you had to do something different, and they're an offshoot. So I have something in the predictions based on that evolutionary thing that I will save. A little bit story sinful, but no, I'm absolutely fine with it.
I think it was needed because I think we needed to understand how the changelings were getting around, because that's been a conversational part of kind of each episode leading up to this one is how are the changelings infiltrating?
How? Yeah.
And this was an interesting, update to that. Science! Evolution!
But it does annoy me. The people screaming online, oh, why aren't they detected? How do they manage to get there? How do we not know that what are they doing on the Titan? When the answer is wait and see. Like, it's such a fundamental thing. It's going to be addressed.
But there's just passion behind this material, which I love.
No, that's true. It does come from passion, but we need to find that line between being too protective of shit and not letting it evolve.
On the same theme of like, okay, we're revealing more of the mystery. We also have the mystery revealed of how to get into Daystream Station, Daystreams?
Yeah, so specifically, it's the Daystream Institute.
Daystream Institute.
I thought it was on the planet, but it's actually in orbit. So I may be wrong about... So there's a Daystream Institute in Okinawa on Earth, but there's another Daystream Institute station which is in orbit somewhere. So this is different. So this space station is where the dangerous shit is kept, by the sounds of it.
The Exocomps.
I think that's where the Exocomps aren't there.
Moriarty
would appear to be.
Oh my god. The episode when we get to go, it's gonna be like, oh, okay, what was the episode of Picard season 1?
Ragdoll, Stardust City Rag.
Yes, it's gonna be like Stardust City Rag, but it's gonna be like all of the evil like shit.
Yeah, and everything comes together all at once.
It's gonna be Worf and Rafi just like surrounded by danger.
Oh my god, the holographic programs we haven't even remembered yet, because what we're learning is that what they show in the trailer isn't all of the secrets, which is great. Which is really smart.
Please.
Well, we know that because like Ro wasn't in the trailer.
That's predictions. That's for the future.
Yeah.
But I did we needed to see Worf and Rafi again, and we needed to kind of understand what their next thing is. And so this is letting us know that their next thing is going to be going over to the place where the stuff is, and they're going to be doing the little mystery. However,
yes.
Can we get off of the fucking planet?
Can we stop with Metalis Prime or wherever we are, 657? This is where it felt like it was spinning its wheels. Because I was like, we are with Raffi and Worf, we're the same place we are during episode 4. Woo! Sorry, episode 3. Which is fine, because during episode 4, we didn't want to cut back to them. But there is no way, storytelling-wise, that Sneed couldn't have had this fucking information as well. I love Kirk, I can never say his name. The Vulcan in this episode is Kirk Acevedo. Kirk Acevedo. He's great. He's another actor from 12 Monkeys that Terry Metalis has brought in. He's a great Vulcan. I love the idea of a criminal syndicate Vulcan who is like logically explaining why crime needs to exist. Beautiful. Love it. But I'm just like, Sneed could have had this information. This was just, what do we do with Raffi and Worf to get them caught up, so that they arrive at Daystrom at the same time as the Titan and not ahead of them. So while I love their interaction, I love Worf going Neo and just single-handedly lightsabering Raffi's attacks away. Adore it. I am just like, spinning the wheels. Let's go. Let's get off Metalis.
Yeah, I'm ready to get off of the ecology of District 6, guys.
Right.
I'm ready to move. But this is me just selfishly wanting to see more of the world of Star Trek.
Exactly.
That's all. Uh-huh. Is it the worst thing ever? No. And we didn't have them at all last episode. So I think that was a needed break, because we're going into this episode knowing that we're still not leaving District 6.
Yeah. I mean, I know I said at the end of episode 3, oh yeah, we know that they're leaving and they're heading to the Daystrom Institute. Like, the story work you have to do a 180. I was like, oh, we can't go. It's back to the planet. Like, they weren't even ready to leave them, were they? So that's where I'm...
Yeah,
let's go.
But it seems that we're leaving now. It seems that we've got the Titan, going off on its own. And then it seems like, Worf and Rafi have their marching orders. And, hey, we had the reveal, too, that the handler was actually Ro? Is that her name?
Ro Laren. Yeah.
Which was a kind of a cool thing, because Worf goes to check in with his handler, and Picard and Riker are sitting there, and that's kind of an interesting way to reconnect the two of them. Convenient, of course, but it's still an interesting kind of way to tie them all together.
Convenient, but yeah, no,
Super.
I love it, and the surprise on everyone's face when they see each other, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's really.
It's like, oh, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Awesome. You're not Ro. What's going on?
Yeah, it was interesting. I do like what you said. It was interesting to see another Vulcan type character. And
oh yeah, it's great. Yeah.
I feel like the writers are going, hey, we're going to reinvent. How do we reinvent some of these archetype characters that we have? We have this person that usually does this. This is what the audience is expecting. What if we create a different angle, a criminal version of a Vulcan, which I know you've said before there are criminal Vulcans, but this is an interesting way to kind of see them and also explain the brotherhood part of it. And it was I'm just kind of surprised. Just a reminder that I feel like watching a show like this in the 80s and 90s, there wouldn't be nearly as much detail given to these kinds of bad guy characters, because storytelling was always they're bad guys, they don't matter, they're throwaway, we're going to kill them, and then they're just moving on. But here they're giving them backstory, and we're getting 3 or 4 sentences, so not a ton, but we're getting a little bit more of the story of Sneed and this guy who we may never see again, ever.
Probably not, yeah.
But it's, again, just that idea that they're really thinking about what they're writing.
Yeah, why would he be so invested in Sneed's death?
I agree that the Worf Rafi stuff, when they were fighting and Worf is he just is oh, yeah,
just one-handed.
Keep coming at me. Small
so well done.
Padawan Rafi, and he's just batting her around. It was super great.
And suddenly Worf's theme appears. I'm not going to be able to hum it, but there's a very distinctive change in tone and sound.
I didn't notice that. Music. Cool.
Oh, it's so good. And it's when we're introduced to Worf in First Contact, he's on the Defiant fighting a Borg cube, and the ship is beat up to shit. And then he comes up from the command chair and he's like, "Today is a good day to die." And then the Enterprise comes out, and then that music is playing, and it's so good. It's great. He has his own theme music, and I fucking love it.
And I don't know if it's a sin or if it's like something awesome, but I would just assume that being like head slammed by a Klingon with that dome ridge.
Oh, you're getting broken craniums everywhere. Yeah.
So
twice.
I think it's pretty clear that he's holding back, because Rafi should be in rough shape.
Well, what's really, and I think it's great, I think this was deliberate, is that was step for step exactly the same thing that they did on the ship.
Yes.
So that wasn't just training.
I thought so too.
That was a rehearsal, because they knew they were going to get double-crossed.
Yes.
I have sins about that, but it is still great that is a little nod to the audience that something is up here. Like, they're rehearsing move by move exactly what happened. And they wanted to make it convincing. Worf is like, this is how you're going to have to convince them that you beat me and I didn't throw the match. Yeah, I love that. While we're in that scene, just an interesting note that mobile emitters are now maybe not commonplace, but the fact that there's more than one of them is a fucking big deal. So when the Vulcan guy shoots Raffi and she's a hologram, and then he's like, "Think I wouldn't suspect a mobile emitter," and it drops to the floor. The mobile emitter, the only one that we know of, is the one that Sarcastic Doctor from Voyager has, that came from the 31st century. Like, or 30th century? 27th century. Anyway, from the fucking future. And it's been impossible to replicate. Holograms can't exist outside the holodeck without a big old projector. So the fact that they've managed to replicate the technology is definitely a nod to, this is how Moriarty is out on the loose. But it's kind of a big deal that they've managed to recreate these. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. And I totally caught that, as just a casual viewer.
Probably not. But it's a nice nod for the... It's almost like, oh, how can Moriarty be out in the open? And it's like, can I refer you to episode 5 where Raffi had a mobile emitter? What else did you like, Ambassador?
Let's take a look at the notes before we shift around.
We've got a new ship, the USS Intrepid.
We do have a new ship.
Very pretty. I like that.
I did enjoy watching the ship be blown up a little bit and then right itself and square off and then shoot the torpedoes and then our Titan gets away just in time. That was pretty cool looking.
One of my new favorite things on Twitter, and I should stop reading, is Terry Matalis has been replying to a lot of tweets about nitpicking and hole picking and all of that stuff in the show. And one of them was, why aren't quantum torpedoes used anymore? Now, these were introduced in First Contact, and they are like fucking insane blue, super duper powerful torpedoes that can wipe out a Borg sphere. And somebody just said, why aren't we using them anymore? And Terry just replied, there was an incident. Perfect response. And someone else was like, why don't we see the enhanced shielding that was seen in the last episode of Voyager? And he just replied, there was an incident. The reply to, if this technology that we've seen before, why isn't it being used now? There was an incident. I love it. That's great. Because it's like, why are the androids banned? There was an incident. Now, we know about that incident, but there's tons of incidents in the last 30 years that we don't know about. That maybe quantum torpedoes leak radiation and kill babies. Who knows? But I love that as an answer. The more vague, the better, and that does a lot of work. There's going to be my new answer. Why didn't this get done in time? There was an incident.
I kind of want to add that to my everyday life. Like,
there was an incident.
Anytime anyone asks about like details about my life, like, there was an incident, and let's just let that explain itself.
It's amazing how that shuts down a lot of future questions. Why does this taste like shit? There was an incident.
I don't like that one.
Well, that's because you don't have to choose whether you carry on eating or not.
That one, okay, that's true. That's
an unfair.
Yeah, okay.
Right, any more newts before newts? Anyone newts before we move on?
No. Let's see. I think I want to talk about Jack just a little bit, but that might be more like in the prediction stuff. So I can kind of wait on that.
Yeah, that was my last note. Was Jack's got this Winter Soldier thing going on where he's been activated and loved it. Like, the choreography for that was really fun. Like, seeing
so
him
badass.
Kick some ass was fucking incredible. I wanted that.
When the camera angle is kind of like down sort of on the flourish area and every one of the 4 attackers is down, but then the one that's in the foreground suddenly jumps up like it's got second wind and is just like reaching for Jack, and he just does this one-shot kill thing. And I'm just like, okay, Jack.
Okay, Jack.
All right.
You got skills.
But then he kind of goes into, like you said, Winter Soldier mode. It's almost like he accepted it. So my interpretation is that there's something that takes him over and he fights it. And in that moment, he gave into it so that he could survive. And he traded off a little bit. Maybe he loses power every time he does this. Maybe he loses control. I'm not sure. Like he can't gain it back more and more.
This is the first time that he's been faced with these impossible odds, and that was like kick in. Like maybe he wasn't in control of it, but I think we do save that for predictions. I got some thoughts going on in my noodle box about that.
Me too. But then the beautiful part of that scene is that, you know, he glances down the hallway towards I think it's the door to the bridge, and the vision is of these sort of bloody, maybe not bloody, but they're like a reddish color vines or roots or something. I think they're more root-like, that are beginning to sort of take over the hallway. And the door turns into a red door. The one maybe of his dreams, or kind of like the mental struggle that he has with his visions. And then it sort of like becomes normal again. But because the Titan is in red alert, the door is sort of red. And I just thought that was a really beautiful
It's a beautiful way
scene.
to fuck with him. Like he's gonna be questioning everything.
Yeah,
I like that.
That was interesting. I mean, and then to end the episode with Jack saying that he didn't know that they were changelings.
Oh, oof!
Is
again,
it's a mind fuck. It's kind of when
we got lucky.
It's when someone realizes that they've done something that they can't ever take back, and they did it to protect themselves, but they would have done it no matter who was the other person. And Beverly sort of wrestling a bit with what that could mean. It was a good way to end the episode a bit. I feel that was because that's one of the parts of the great mystery of this episode, and it's what is likely going to tie Picard emotionally to why to stay invested in the Starfleet stuff, right? Is because it's going to impact a lot. But it's really interesting to feel like Starfleet has turned against our heroes, and they are the scapegoat of disaster. They're going to be court-martialed. They're going to be blamed for an attack on this not the Titan, but the other ship, the Intrepid. They can't trust anybody, and they're just sort of like stole a ship and on their own, and everyone is after them. I think Riker says like they're coming for us, and who exactly? And he says everyone.
Let's see the Enterprise. Come on, let's send the Enterprise after these bastards. Let's do it.
So just a really interesting way to kind of shift into that next sort of level.
I love the emotion that came from Jack as well. Just like, there's something wrong with me. And I'm so glad he's not the trope of like hiding it and burying it. He's asking for help. And like, he's scared of what he can do, because luckily the programming kicked in and saved him and killed 4 changelings. But what if the programming kicked in and killed 4 humans? Like that, he probably thinks that could have happened.
I'm really glad you brought that up, because it reminds me of another thing that the writers and the cinematography and the director did really, really well, which is that they showed the stakes of the power of Jack by giving us flashbacks and dreams. Because if, let's say that we had seen that scene, we'd watched Jack kill the people attacking him, and without that context, it'd be like, okay, cool, he's got a power, that's awesome. But we understand that there's something dangerous because we saw his dream where he killed the crew at the very beginning, number one. Number 2, he wakes up, he's actually holding the gun. So he may have accidentaled himself into that scenario, you know, for a world worse than that. And then when all of the crew beams away back to the Intrepid, he's having these weird kind of like reality alteration moments where everyone's screaming from inside the beaming, and it's serious. And then he thinks about or envisions himself killing the guy for not letting him leave, the one that, you know, handles the person whose only job is to slide a slidey button. Can we talk about that guy?
Oh, you're talking about Chief O'Brien now. That's all he had to do for the longest time.
Okay. He's important. He's important.
We are underestimating the complexities of making sure the death machine does what it's supposed to do. I think the slidiness and activating it is only the flashy part of the journey that we see. I think the prep work to make sure the death machine continues to function as it should is what they're there to do most of the time. It's probably the most complex bit of machinery on the ship.
and be killed, because they're regularly like the person that gets
clones.
held at phaser points or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Roy
anyway,
may be the only person who isn't a clone.
So that was really powerful too, because we see, okay, that wasn't reality. Now this is reality. He didn't actually kill the slidey button guy. We're back to reality. He hasn't made any irreversible decisions yet. And then by the end of the episode, he does make irreversible decisions. And yes, it was quote unquote killing the bad guy, like we're talking about. So it's quote unquote justified, whatever, whatever the situation is.
Uh-huh.
But we, the viewer, know from Jack's perspective how serious it is. And I do, like you said, I like that he's talking to his mother. It's really important.
Really emotionally about it. And I buy it because they've had is each other. Like, and I think what would rightfully be worrying Jack is that if there's a room of 10 people that he loves, including his mum, and if there's one changeling in there, will the programming kick in and kill all 10 to get to that one changeling? Holy shit, how terrifying is that?
Changelings?
Doesn't matter. If that, whatever it is that's a threat to him, would the programming kill everyone in that room to make sure that he didn't die? And then who's the collateral damage? Like, that's terrifying. Not having that control. But yeah, love that. Love it. Okay, everybody. Let's head over to engineering for the Sins. We still haven't seen the Titan engineering section. That sucks. Anyway, that's a good way to jump into the Sins. Battle stations, everyone.
Warning. Warp core collapse in 10 seconds.
This is the part of the show where we re-engage our Sin brains, remind ourselves that no TV show is without Sin, even our beloved Star Trek. The fact that they didn't build an engineering set aside yet, I think we would have seen it by now. They would have shown off that warp core if they'd built one. Hit us up. Let's go for your Sins. What have you got, Ambassador?
Ooh, this is always hard for me, so I'll throw some out and you can tell me if it's actually there's a reason for it. I just think I mentioned this in my recap of the show. I don't understand how Beverly has the authority to do anything that she's doing. Does she still work for Starfleet? Has she been reinstated or something?
No, she doesn't. I think it's just professional respect. And I think that's it. It's bizarre to me that it is one of my Sins that she goes to Picard and is like, I need to perform an autopsy, and he's just like, mission granted, authorized.
Go for it.
She doesn't have the authority to make the request. You don't have the authority to grant it. You're just two people talking right now. Like, I guess it's just a callback to duty and just their professional relationship. But
yeah.
Cool, go and do it, but you don't need his permission.
I just find it surprising that Shaw would be like, yes, these two civilians that we've beamed on board are allowed to integrate into my crew, especially Beverly.
I mean, in theory, all 5 of them should be in the brig. Jack, Beverly, Seven, John,
they're all
Jonathan, William, Picard. They should all be in the brig, separate brigs, so that they don't get the story straight. But I guess there's a level of professional courtesy, respect, we've been through a trauma together thing that Shaw is holding on to, because we kind of need a TV show.
We do.
Okay, I'm just going to very, very quickly debunk some bullshit from Shaw. He lists 3 different occasions where Picard and Riker have got away with shit. Like, he makes a great point. Like, they fall back on the same thing that Kirk and McCoy would always fall back on, which was, we've saved the universe, they should forgive us. And 9 times out of 10, they did. And Shaw's just like, yeah, but do the ends justify the means? Because here's a list of things that you've done wrong. The Enterprise D saucer section crashing into that planet was not their fault. They were attacked by a bird of prey while trying to defend galaxies. Not their fault that their ship got blown up. The kiss on the Baku planet was not technically a breach of the Prime Directive, because they do have warp travel. They just know it. And they were an advanced enough race to be interacting with. So the kiss was fine, just a little bit unprofessional. And the Devron system, the time anomaly, again, that was to save the planet. It was to, I think this is where the Davidians are doing sneaky stuff in the past, and they actually were preventing it. Not their fault. So I'm just saying. 3 occasions, three examples. There's plenty of examples where they have broken the Prime Directive, but those 3 were poor. Sorry. Carry on. I will not be taking any questions.
Maybe I would sin that it was just super, super great that Picard didn't look at the earring and think, yeah, I don't deal with trinkets very well, and then just chuck it in an incinerator. Yeah. That was a lot of information to have hidden there. Thank God for Riker, I guess.
Right.
Knowing where to put it on the table.
I mean, Picard just could have kept it in his pocket.
Yeah.
And never revealed it.
Yeah.
Too personal.
Right?
Too personal. I'm never going to tell Riker this.
Yeah, this earring is a symbol of love and reconnection. I'm going to keep it with me always. And then it goes into the chest of drawers where he found his old
eat it
communicator.
And keep it in my Gollum body.
Yeah. It goes into the communicator leather satchel that started this whole mess with Beverly, and it's just like in his mansion.
It gets activated in season 3 of Riker. 20 years from now.
He just like tucks it away because he's a collector. So I don't know. It was kind of cool. Like, but I kind of wonder because Riker said this is an old spy technology. So wouldn't there have been like a password or something? It just seemed like all of those special, like highly classified documentation about her investigation was just suddenly very accessible. There.
Yeah, there would be a password to that.
Something.
On a side note, I bought a new external SSD drive for my laptop, and it has like a terabyte of it's awesome. It's got a lot of memory on there, and it has this setup thing, and it said, "Would you like to password protect it?" And then I saw this little disclaimer that said, "There is no way to back up this password. It doesn't go anywhere. It's just with you. You cannot reset it. Samsung will not be responsible if you can't get to your data because you've forgotten your password." And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to password protect it. I don't trust myself. Maybe she's worried she was going to forget the password.
There's no way. There's just no way.
I don't know. I'm not even putting anything important on this thing, and I'm like, I still don't want to risk it.
Yeah, I get. Okay. What's yours?
My next one is, and I almost hate myself for saying this, but it's the safety protocol button in the holodeck. I'm just
I got that one too.
Fucking hell. Back in the day, you needed 2 command level officers to turn off the safety protocols. Then it evolved into anyone can do it with a voice authorization on their own. Now it's a fucking off switch. No, it shouldn't be behind the bar. It shouldn't be
How
anywhere.
Convenient that it was behind the bar, right?
It's just, and I hate it. I hate like being this nitpicky, but
no, but it's
dumb.
so that
it's so
we
dangerous.
Watched, it was usually all that stuff was on the arch.
Yeah.
You know, and here it is
voice command
inside the hologram
Anyone
computer
can
system integrated into specifically the bar.
I could accidentally knee that shit on my way to making a drink, and then bam, I've poisoned someone. Oh man.
Yes. Can we talk about Guinan's gun suddenly appearing? What's that?
So that I was kind of okay with ish because Guinan does keep a gun under the bar. That's something we've seen happen in TNG. Multiple episodes, she keeps a gun there. It is this crazy alien huge assault rifle, but I can imagine that maybe things get stricter and she's only allowed a standard issue Starfleet phaser. So that I was fine with. I'm still not fine with us being able to. I will never be fine with holographic phasers being able to kill people. I don't know. I get that you can replicate weapons. I get that you can replicate weapons. I don't know if a holographic weapon should be able to kill unless it's a blade. But anyway, the whole thing was. It irked me. It irked me somewhat.
Yeah. It was interesting. It did build a little bit of tension, which is good because there was stakes now. You know, stepping into the holodeck and thinking that your life is in danger means nothing to a Trekkie unless you know that protocol is gone. And so it makes sense that they would want to remove it, but it just goes against how we've seen it done before. But maybe it's because things have changed, you know, and they want them to happen quickly. Who knows?
Yeah, agreed. But it is just, I also think that you can build tension without a gun. That's another big storytelling thing for me. I love phasers.
Yeah.
I don't like guns being used to increase tension in arguments.
Yeah, but what are they going to have? Like an old person slap off? You know what I mean?
Just words.
Just absolutely slaying each other with insults until they have a heart attack.
I don't think you need anything other than the words that we already had on screen. I think there was enough power behind them that we didn't need the phasers, but I get it.
I get it. I understand what you're saying. I do. Can we talk about how Beverly seems to forget that she's sending a transmission about how important it is to trust no one on Starfleet computers? Like,
yeah.
She solves the mystery. The changelings are us now. And then she's like, I'll send you a message. And then the message pops up and it's just like, trust no one. Changelings are everywhere. It's like, you sent that on a Starfleet ship. Yeah. Like, who's not going to have access to that?
She could have encoded it or encrypted it, but we didn't see it. Yeah, we didn't see it happen, but...
Also, can I send that screen while we're in that moment? It's like, yes, I love that there's some cool tech and that they're doing a great job of zooming in on the things we're supposed to look at. But man, is that a busy screen. Holy shit.
So much going on. So much happening. Bring up all the information at once. It's like, it reminds me of a new video game that we've been playing, and the amount of information that pops up on screen, and we're like, I don't know what to look at. So
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, here we go. This is something I would have. This would be a multi-sin. Let's talk about everyone's plan in this, and it is the Raffi Worf Vulcan plan. The multiple layers of Ocean's 11 double crossing that goes on here. You have to see so many steps ahead. So here's the plan. Worf and Raffi get together, and they realize that we're going to go down to the planet. We're going to make a scene. This is going to bring out the Vulcan guy who is going to attempt to kill us. So we'll turn into holograms. However, we know that he's going to know that we're holograms. So we will also be ready that he's going to ask us to kill each other in a battle to the death, because we know that that will give Worf an opportunity to disappear, dispatch everyone, and come back. That is some predictive shit going on there. Because also the bad guy has got to be thinking just enough steps ahead to not have another step ahead of, yes, but I knew that you weren't actually dead, Worf, and now there's somebody behind you that's going to get you. Like, it is the only way you pull that plan off is if you write it and put it on TV. There are so many layers of foresight that Worf and Raffi have to pull this off. And it's fun, but it's tropey as heck, and just, it would never happen. Like, how do you know there's going to be a battle to the death? Like, did I miss something? Is that specific to this dude?
Ooh, I assumed that they knew he was Vulcan. I assumed that they knew that there was going to be some protocol there. I assumed that they had some intelligence as to how the gang works, and maybe even like the things in the past, but that's making me assume a lot. And I think what didn't work for me in that is believing for 1 second that Raffi would actually kill Worf. And so that death to me was like I didn't feel anything.
I don't think it's for
I did feel something.
Okay.
I was angry.
Yeah, I was annoyed. But I also don't think for a second we were supposed to believe that was it for Worf. I don't think there was even anyone was supposed to expect him.
I think the interesting thing about that storytelling choice is they're like, okay, well, so we're going to kill Worf and no one's going to believe it. And that's going to be the hint that they have a bigger plan.
Yeah.
That's, if anyone's confused, that will be the final hint to the audience that there is a plan. It was fun and clever. And man, I love Worf and Raffi together. I can't get over it. They're so fun.
Raffaella, you must calm down. Raffaella.
I love their conversations. I love their quips. I love all of the Worfisms going on. And maybe it's a bit much. Like maybe him saying, I have perfected the art of such and such and such and slowed my heart down.
The slow bullshit. Yeah.
And then when he gets to the part where he's like, I've done this and this and this. But I am losing a lot of blood. So we're going to skip to the interrogation now. Like that is working for me because I haven't seen Worf in so long. I want all of it. But I mean, I get what you're saying. How many things had to go correct? I just assumed that they had like a little like fake liter of blood that he was wearing on his stomach that she pierced
had to
or
get
something.
Stabbed in the gut. And I'm fine with that because Klingons have double of everything. So they have 2 hearts, 4 lungs, 4 kidneys, some extra organs. They have a lot of redundancies because they've evolved in battle and fighting and stuff like that. So it's whatever.
I think that I continue to I would sin it, but in secret, Worf training Raffi I'm fucking loving it so much.
So good. Great.
I kind of just want to stay over there for a little bit longer sometimes, which is a good sign.
Yeah. Sure.
It's just really funny. Oh, and I must say too, the work that they're doing with the prosthetics is beautiful. They've simplified a little bit. They've really they've got obviously his telltale, spike dome on the forehead thing going on, but they've also softened some things because prosthetics have come so far, and the way that you can kind of maybe even see a little bit of the age spots on his cheek.
Yes.
And a little bit of a little bit of wrinkles under his eyes, but you can really see his eyes. And I feel like sometimes in the TNG, it's probably because it's just old, like it's old and you can't really see it very, very well. We're not shooting in 4K or whatever we're shooting in. But like, it's almost like his eyebrows were sort of obstructed by the forehead piece.
Mm-hmm.
And here we get to just see, I can see his eyes and his expression.
More expression,
and
yes.
I love it.
No,
Anyway.
I love it. It was one of the biggest things that LeVar Burton struggled with, was all of his acting, he said, was with his eyes. Like, he has these huge, huge eyes. And he said he was so used to emoting and expressing. And then he gets cast and they put a visor over him. And he's like, no one's going to like me. I can't do this. It's like, it's such a testament to LeVar that we get so much emotion from Geordie. And we so rarely see his eyes. Yeah. I see what I like that. I got a little bit annoyed with Picard's Let's Run, don't have time to explain. Sorry, dude. You're going to have to explain. Like, invariably, it takes longer to not explain than it does to explain. He's asking for a big leap of faith from Shaw, which he should know isn't going to come without a few words of explanation. Like, how hard is it to say, the Intrepid is filled with changeling? Let's go.
What are you talking about? Like, he does do that. He comes into there and he's like, Starfleet has compromised the highest level. Changelings have, doesn't he say changelings have infiltrated the Intrepid? We got to go.
But the first thing he says is, we got to get out of here. I don't have time to explain. Don't even open with that. Like, just start explaining. No way is Shaw going to buy that.
He gets to it pretty fast. But I love Shaw being like, don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Yeah, right. Don't you dare overrule my commands, you asshat.
I think someone in the chat, Nick, said no time to explain and then immediately explains. That would be the great sin there. Because he does explain, but it's not, it's silly. Yeah.
It's the thing that just niggles at me. I have one last one. Do you have anything else?
Maybe this is going to be explained, but all of the convenient beaming and not being able to be beaming was beaming me off.
Well, I get that. Well, with the shuttle having the transport inhibitor?
The shuttle had a inhibitor, but then they could teleport, they could beam, and then they instantly are beaming into instant places instantly, and so that means they have like their own communication line somewhere. Like, there is some serious and maybe this is part of why they're scary, is because they're super organized. Like,
I mean, I think that's it. They are organized. I kind of imagined that
boom, they're off the shuttle. Boom, they're back on the ship. Boom, 2 more show up. I was like, wait, where are they coming from?
They beamed from the shuttle back to the Titan, and I imagined that like the bomb has the inhibitor built into it. So when the bomb activates, that also stops people from beaming out. That makes sense.
Okay.
Also, when the 2 security guards are fighting Jack, they report his location, and then 2 more security guards beam in.
I know, but then that's making us assume that every single person on the Intrepid is compromised, but I don't believe that that's true. So they have to have like a specific kind of line of communication to exactly. Yes. So there's just all this stuff that has to be done for this to be covert enough that it's not blown wide open by everybody. So hopefully that'll kind of make sense. But that was convenient. Beaming is convenient.
There's a lot of convenience, but I hope it's because the scary thing that they are more organized than we expect.
Yeah, why didn't they just beam Jack out? Why? Aids and I want to know why.
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know actually. Yep, can't answer that one.
This will all be over. Just grab Jack and get the fuck over. Like, kill him, whatever. Let's go.
Oh, one final one was no one was alerted to the weapons fire. Like, Jack murders everybody with a phaser and no alarms go off. But maybe there was an alarm buried in there. Still, alarms with phasers.
Okay, this is maybe something that you're going to edit out because it's completely out of place. But I do want to say that I did like that they used the earring for information. I did think that was kind of a cool thing.
Oh, yeah, no, I think that's cool. Yeah, I like that.
Like, it's always on a person. It's tiny. It's how she communicates with Worf.
It's a religious thing. Cool. You have to keep it.
Yeah.
I get it. I like it. It's convenient, but I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, it's time to head to the ready room for some predictions. Welcome to the Captain's Ready Room, where we hear our predictions for the rest of the season and bask in our Q-like glory if anything we have previously predicted has come true. Let's have a quick recap of some previous predictions. Ian thinks that Jack is a half changeling, half human to find a cure for the Great Link.
It's possible.
Still possible.
It's possible. I have a theory about that. Can I tell you what it is?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's actually not. It can't be true.
This is great. They're the best predictions, the ones that you know can't be true.
I had a thing. I was like, oh, I get it now. Beverly is a changeling.
I don't like that.
The evolved changeling with all the organs is with Picard, gets pregnant, has a baby, and that's how he's half.
I think there's maybe a 1% chance of that being true. And if it is, I'll be so mad.
And then I
That means
realized
you've killed
that
Beverly
that's
off.
probably not possible because she knew a lot of information about Picard. So she would have had to have been a changeling for a really long time.
At least 24 years.
It was interesting. It was interesting
Yeah,
to think
I don't know
about.
that
I'm
I
trying
like
to figure out what's happening. No,
I think
I don't like it either.
Steals a lot from Beverly's return. I don't think it's going to be anybody TNG related that's going to be a changeling. I think
Riker.
it's going to be one of the Titan crew. No, because they've been really precious about TNG and stuff, so I don't think they're going to be doing any shenanigans like that. I don't think.
They're going to kill Riker, but it's not actually Riker, so it's okay.
So here's my prediction about Jack. I think he's an augmented human of some sort. So he's an augmented, genetically modified, half human, half changeling, hybrid thing. Going back to like the eugenics stuff. That's what I think. Inserted into Beverly in her sleep.
By who?
I'm now guessing that yes, Picard and Beverly had sex, but they did not conceive a child. Somebody took advantage of that knowledge and implanted a baby into Beverly.
Okay.
What?
So hold on a second. I know this is great. So somebody, there's all kinds of beings around in the universe.
Waiting for the perfect moment for
just
Beverly and
peeping on
Picard
them
to
until
get it.
they
Yeah.
fuck.
How's the peeping?
Send the message. We have contact. And by contact, I mean wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Mm-hmm.
The ship has entered the dock. We are docked.
The ship is docked. Yeah.
Picard and Beverly are docked. Do you want me to tell you in great
source of
detail?
separation.
You know, and then they're like, okay, send in the syringe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beam that shit in.
Listen. Ow! No.
No, just beam it in. It's tiny.
Consent. I mean,
Beam
they're
it in.
evil. All right, okay.
They are evil. They don't care.
Oof.
There's something there. There's
That
something
hurt.
there.
That
bet it
hurt.
did.
Listen,
I'm
let me tell you
sorry.
about a story real quick. Let me tell you why
Let's
that
not.
hurt. One day, while pregnant, I was pregnant. My child was usually super chill. She didn't like to move a lot. And I always heard stories of different kinds of women, their experiences during their pregnancies, and I didn't know what to expect. My little one was just floating in the lazy river, just happy to chill. She was fine, but she didn't do flips and stuff. One day, she decides that she's going to stretch because it's getting, all cramped in there and shit. And she stretches, and some body part, I'm going to say it's a foot. Do I know it's the foot? No, I can't see inside my body. She just pushes from nothing at all to full pressure on my bladder.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you right now, there you will never experience anything.
Nope.
Just quite suddenly your organs are squeezed from the inside. So when you said beam straight in,
You
I
imagine
have
things
this
getting pushed
sudden
aside.
instant feeling of bladder instantly tiny because something pushed into it. It was the weirdest feeling ever. I did great. I didn't pee myself.
Of course.
Just to kind of
because that would
put
have
a
been
little
out of your
bow on
control.
that story. I know you guys are really, you're sitting here thinking, God, this story is so fucking interesting. I just need to know if she pissed herself.
Yeah.
I didn't. I managed to
Disappointing
control.
end to that story.
You wanted me to pee myself.
I mean, it would have made sense.
Some friend you are.
Past Deneé before I knew her. That
No.
makes it okay.
I pee every time I sneeze now. So that's the great
Oh,
part
okay.
of after
Fair.
having a child.
It's just a little bit though. We all do that.
Everything has to kind of figure out how to go back to where it was before. And some things just don't.
recoalesce.
Okay, not every time, but
The big
definitely
sneezes.
a percentage of the time. Yeah.
Mhm.
I've learned that I have to kick my leg out and then it doesn't happen.
Oh, interesting.
So if you ever see me sneeze and kick, just know
Oh, I
that
have
is to
bruises
protect
on my
myself
knee.
from peeing.
Yeah. Sacrifice my shin so that you
I don't
pee
normally
yourself.
talk about having a child, so sorry to derail. Let's go on.
No, that was great. That was the information that we needed to know. I don't know if I have any other predictions.
Oh, right, we're
Do you
doing
have any
that.
others?
Right, that's what we're talking about. This isn't
Yeah.
the podcast about childbearing. Okay,
No, not this time. It can be. There's an audience for it.
let's see. I think you said something about hearing Vadic's voice during the "Hear Me, Find Me" Jack stuff.
I'm sure I heard Vadic's voice, but I think I also heard Beverly's voice. So I think he's just cycling through voices.
Okay. All right. I do want to point out that during the show, when Ro is saying goodbye to Picard and put something into his hand, I said it's the earring and she's about to die.
You predicted
that.
that in the moment. You
I did.
did well on that
Mhm.
one.
I don't know that I have any other solid predictions. I'm really confused about what Jack is. We're seeing red eyes. Is there any clue, alien-wise, of why his eyes would be red? Or
Not one that's immediately jumping
Okay.
into me. Someone in the chat has mentioned the Par Wraiths, which are I said there are wormhole aliens, and they're the gods that the Bajorans worship. basically the satanic version of them are the Parraves. They're the evil wormhole aliens.
Oh, fuck yeah, he's an evil worm alien.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, that they've inhabited his body, possibly. That's a prediction from the chat. It would be out of left. I still think it's going to be something completely out of left field that we couldn't predict.
Man, I hope not, because that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, it does.
Personally,
it really does. It really does.
And I think that would bring a lot of joy to the fans who know that kind of stuff, who've watched Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, it's a huge Deep Space Nine plot line. It would make a lot of sense for bringing Sisko back. If we get Avery Brooks back, I want him to swoop in and kick some ass. I just want to hear his again.
That's it for me.
Yeah, no other big predictions. I think we're going to meet up with Geordie this episode 5 or episode 6. Sorry, episode 6 or episode 7, and we'll get the whole team back together. That's the only person that's missing. Yeah, that's my last prediction. Thank you for listening, everybody. There will be, for those of you that join us in the live show, there will be no live show next week, as the ambassador and I... Actually, that's a lie. There will be a live show, but it won't be live on Twitch. It'll be live at Sin Week. However, you will have a regular episode in your podcast feed next Wednesday doing episode 6. We just won't be doing a live recording of it. But until then, thank you for listening, everybody. I'm going to step outside so that you can get your bullshit stories together.
And it would be illogical for me. No, wait. It would be illogical to not expect you to prepare for me, so I prepared for you.
Well, just that would be my fucking sin. Like, to prepare for you. I know that he knew that I knew.
But it's logical. And it's illogical for me not to have done that, so it's logical for me to do it.
Exactly.
And I like it.
I hate Vulcans. Live long and Podsper.
Thanks for listening. Want to connect with the show? Our hailing frequencies are always open through captainspod@cinemasins.com. Like, comment, and subscribe on your podcast player of choice, and be sure to visit cinemasins.com.
He's a changeling, come on.
No, he's not. That's Red Eyes.
No, that was Vadic's voice.
Ian, what the fuck is that?
That come home was Vadic's voice.
Ian, who the fuck has red eyes? Do you know?
No, I can't think.
Okay.
Nothing's jumping out at me. Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab a drink from the replicator, share our immediate thoughts and feelings on the... I missed out a word. That was annoying. Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab a drink from the replicator and share our immediate
Could you do it once more with feeling?
On the episode we just watched. I don't show emotions. I'm a Vulcan. Welcome to 10 Forward. No, because now I can't just keep... I've got to keep the same energy, haven't I?
It's the lowest energy you've ever had. Okay, so I've got 12 seconds to tell you this entire story. Do you think I can do it?
Nope.
Cool. Thanks for believing in me.
Not a matter of belief, matter of physics. Your belief will not make it so.
I got stuck behind a party bus.
Okay.
I live in Southwest Missouri. I live in the Ozark Mountains. I live where party buses are not
usually
necessary, needed, and the people who own a party bus company are probably wondering why the fuck they went into party bus business in the first place, because who needs to purchase or rent a bus for a party? How is it
that's interesting
that at 10:45 on a Friday, 10:45 a.m. on a Friday, there needs to be a party bus going 10 miles under the speed limit on my exact route home? What the fuck is my luck?
I mean, you could just say the dog ate your mic. I would have accepted that as an excuse as well. You didn't have to be quite so elaborate.
Then I get home and I realize I have let the dog's food run out of their dishes, and they have been slowly in panic about this that I've overlooked.
Which they do, yeah.
And so it explains why my house is riddled with all kinds of things that since I left the house this morning at 8:20, so about 2.5 hours I was gone, they have collected things to eat. They have licked out containers of guacamole that were in the trash of my office, because I have like these little guacamole containers, like these little snack guacs that I can like munch on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're in my trash bin because I forgot to close the door to my office, which now makes me question the open bag of chips under my desk. There's no way.
Whether they're safe to eat?
There's no way they're safe. Like, these are absolutely just like, they're just tainted now. They're dog nose tainted. They're lick tainted. They're just tainted. There's no way. So yeah, I came home to a little bit of chaos.
Oh no, I have a really bad week coming up. Actually, I have a great week coming up because it's Sin Week. But the week after that, I have a terrible week coming up because Master Replicas, the company that is taking over the bulk of the Eagle Moss models, launches. And do you know what the bastards are doing? It's fucking genius. They have emailed me, not just me, although I wish it was just me. And here's their plan. Here's what they're going to do. They know exactly what they have access to. They have a catalog. They have more than I thought they would have. So what they're going to do is they're going to launch a selection of items that will be available for 2 weeks.
Oh no.
Take them down, and then there's another selection that will be available for 2 weeks. Take it down. 2 weeks, take it down. What am I going to do?
So wait, is their plan to never cycle back through them?
Of course they haven't told me that. Because if I know they're coming back, where's the urgency to buy them? The first batch has got an XL version of the NX-01 Enterprise, which I haven't got. It has the concept version of Voyager, which is super rare and I haven't got. There's a few in there that I've already got, which is fine. But there's two that I've seen that I definitely want to purchase, and that's not even the whole list. And I don't know what to do. And this is a first world problem. This doesn't matter at all. But I'm just gonna have to buy them, and I don't know. I don't know when they're going to be available again. I don't even know if there's something on the list that I want even more. And then some plumber is going to come and knock them over and smash them all.
Oh, you're fucked. Do you do the thing where you just have to give yourself a limit, a monetary limit, and just say, okay, I'm not.
Well, here's why that doesn't. I mean, of course, there is that limit exists because I'm not paying a mortgage for this stuff. But the problem is, it's not just about fortunately, I can say it's not just about the price, it's about when it's available. So if I set myself a limit, that limit is arbitrary if I miss the opportunity to get something that isn't then available for another year.
But what's going to happen in that year that means you have to have it?
Oh, okay, but I don't know. Okay, not a year was a bad example. I don't know when this might be my only opportunity to get it.
Right.
And I'll look back and be like, you know what? I wish I'd spent a bit more on that occasion to make sure that I could get it. And then,
well, I mean, it just sounds like this is the thing you're going to do now. This is your life now.
This is my life now.
You're going to have to figure out your limitations, Captain. What is it? Is it money? Is it space?
Well, now I'm wondering, do I keep the boxes so that I can resell them in the future when they're worth more? Because I haven't been keeping the boxes. I have some of them, but I've never been that person. And now I'm that person.
Well, yeah, because they're fucking with you via email.
Yeah,
Here's the first thing you do. Go over and unsubscribe to the emails.
No, I'm not doing that. That's not happening. I blame Albert Hogan, actually. He bought me my first model, the bastard. He bought me Voyager.
I like how you don't blame your dad. Your dad who has models hanging from his ceiling.
Yeah, he does.
Your baby mobile was just Star Trek.
You're not kidding. I think it was.
I remember when you were in town last year and we were working and you said, hey, do you want to hear the music that I work to? I was like, sure.
Yeah.
And so you start playing music, just orchestral music, right?
Don't tell them what it is.
What?
Oh, this story could go in a couple of different directions.
It could.
I want them to guess one.
I'm going specifically in the Star Trek direction.
Okay, cool.
I'm listening to one of them. I'm like, man, this is really good. And then all of a sudden it turns into the Star Trek theme. And I was like, holy shit. How did that happen?
This was the first Contact theme. And Deneé had left and then come back in while the bum, 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 bum. And it's all sweeping and swooping. But after 2 minutes, out of nowhere, it goes bum, 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 bum.
I had no idea.
And she's like, that's Star Trek?
I was
Star
blown
Trek
away.
Has beautiful music. The second part of that story is that there was another theme that Deneé didn't recognize.
This is slightly embarrassing, I
think. This
think.
is great. There was another theme that she didn't listen to. So I have a playlist filled with my favourite movie and TV scores.
I didn't know.
And Deneé comes in and it's just like, you know what? If I could pick a personal theme tune, this is what it would be. This has got me pumped up. I fucking love it.
I would walk into every room to this song. This is
No,
fucking awesome. Like it
course.
just like really made me feel things, and it was like inspiring. And I was like, I feel like I'm on top of the world. This is awesome. I want this to be my music.
Of course you would, because the theme was bum 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 bum. It was the Superman theme.
I didn't know it was the Superman theme. I had no idea.
So great. She comes in just like, I want this to play whenever I arrive, and I'm like, I'm sure you do, Superman.
Yeah. But it was entirely honest. I didn't know.
Yeah, gut level, and it just proved to me again that that is another incredible score.
So good.
It's so good because completely blind to movies, Deneé was like, "This is epic as fuck," and I'm like, "Yeah." 50 years later, it's still slap. We have an email question for the ambassador.
Ooh.
Now I told the
For me?
for you specifically.
Okay.
So I did tell you that I've told the ambassador that I have a question, but I'm not going to tell her what it is until the episode.
Oh yeah, I remember that now. Okay, I remember.
Here we go. Here's a question from David Ellis. He says, weird question, or maybe not so weird. I'm relatively new to the pod. Now, my wife and I went to the Carolina Hurricanes outdoor NHL game versus the Washington Capitals on February the 18th. So any time travelers that want to go back in time to find them, that's a great place to find them if you need to meddle with their lives in any way. That's where you're going to find them. Sitting a couple of rows behind us, there was a Capitals fan who I swear sounded just like Deneé. Same laugh and everything. What I had to ask is, was that you, Deneé? Because if not, you have an identical voice twin. And I did reply saying, I am 99% certain, knowing Deneé as I do, it was not her. Was it you, Ambassador?
No, it was not me.
Sadly not.
I have been contacted at least 4 times in my life.
By aliens?
By people who have said that they've seen a doppelganger or heard a doppelganger. So this would be like another instance of me having something similar with somebody else, which is also kind of fun.
That's really fun.
No, I did not go and enjoy a hockey game. I've been to one hockey game in my entire life.
Oh, okay, so you have been to one, okay.
Mm-hmm. I've been to one. My boyfriend at the time really enjoyed the Blues, which is the St. Louis team. And so we went to St. Louis and I went to a hockey game and I was like, okay, people are throwing brooms now. That's interesting.
That's a thing that's going on. Well, I kind of had like a little bit of a chat with David as well. And he's just finished putting together a fan film. So if you guys want to, and I think he said it comes out on the 20th of March. And so a little while ago, CBS and Paramount kind of cracked down on how you make fan films and what can be done with them. And I think they have to be limited to, they're fine with them, but they have to be limited to under 30 minutes. You can't have other Star Trek actors in it that have appeared in Star Trek, but you basically have free reign to do stuff as long as you're not making money from it. And yeah, so interested in that, go. I haven't seen it yet because it hasn't come out, but I love Star Trek fan films. I love that we now have the technology to do stuff like this. So yeah, the film is called 359, and it follows apparently 4 people in the aftermath of the Big Wolf 359 attack and how they survive. And yeah, if you want to check it out, it's at ellisstudios359.com. We shall keep an eye on that one. Happy birthday to Paulie's son. Happy birthday, sir. However,
happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Paulie Walnut's son. Happy birthday to you. Wow.
Amazing.
Sorry.
However, Paulie would have almost missed that and been rejected because he almost decided to watch the Formula One practice racing instead. Not even the actual race, the practice that happens on Fridays. Like, that's okay. Commitment
That's their
to the
choice,
wrong
Ian.
brand.
Some people watch different things. That's fine. Sudden Ian haircut. Yeah.
Well, the haircut wasn't sudden. That was gradual over the course of 45 minutes. It wasn't just surprise. Snip, 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 snip.
Like you walk into like one of those machines that you see in the movies where it just like zhing, just instantly you're on a conveyor belt. You go in one side, you come out the other. You're just looking quite different.
I'm not ready for that future. I don't want it.
Slab asks, why isn't Ian wearing a kilt and playing a bagpipe today? I thought he was British.
I'm gonna let Lolly take that.
That's amazing.
She will emaciate
Lolly?
you far
Lolly?
more than I can. Somewhere Lolly is twitching.
This morning I woke up with a green mustache on my face because of those pesky leprechauns.
Nice
That's
delivery. I was going to criticize you if you didn't do it.
I was married to a native of County Galway.
Nice.
She never wore green on
Galway.
St. Patrick's Day. Galway. That sounds like the perfect name of a place for old people that just don't want anyone to bother them.
Go away.
Nick said, actually, one of my sins, I don't like Rose reduced nose ridges. I almost didn't recognize her at first because she just looked human. I wondered if they were tattoos. So that's interesting. Is the idea maybe that as you age, those ridges just sort of fall and flop on top of themselves?
Yeah, maybe.
So they're not as pronounced?
It's part of aging. They just recede or reduce. It's the same with Worf. His ridges look different because he ages. And prosthetics change. But that's fine with it.
Josh says, what if the reason Geordi hasn't shown up yet is because in the last act of the last episode, Geordi is going to wake up and stare straight into the camera and say, what a strange dream.
Yeah, they're going to Dallas it? Yeah, I don't think.
Polly says, I think Jack has been turned into an anti-changeling weapon by Section 31. That sounds serious.
I mean, it would make sense. Like a Winter
Soldier.
Soldier.
Is there a Section 31?
Yeah, Section 31 is the you know how you've got the Tal Shiar and the Zat Vash for the Romulans. The Section 31 is Federation, is Starfleet's version of that, basically. They're the sketchy people that can kind of get away with doing the sketchy things. So yeah, it makes sense that they bred him for the Dominion War, but then the Dominion War finished and they don't know what to do with him. However, they kind of used that line in Nemesis a little bit.
I appreciated this one from Chris on YouTube, who said, also, now that we're doing spy stuff, can we go pick up Loris?
Yes!
Who I imagine is much better at this than Picard. You know, give us our hot Irish Romulan for St. Patrick's Day. Right?
Would have been a gift. Yeah, we deserve more.
More Loris. Nick points out, did anyone else notice that when the Intrepid raised its shields, the image on display looked like an updated version of the shields raising in Wrath of Khan with the dots? It looked awesome!
It does. We have plenty of TOS fans in the production of this show, apparently. Lots and lots of callbacks to the Wrath of Khan and whatnot.
Here's a sin from Nick. I've had a dozen questions about this. How exactly does the Universal Translator know to not translate Picard's Bajoran?
Always. I mean, there's no good answer because they did this in TNG as well. They'll switch from Klingon to English and then back again. And Qapla' should just be translated as success. Universal translators can understand intent.
It's a very complicated algorithm.
It's really complicated.
Nick says, Deneé is cosplaying as Peanut Hamper for Sin Week. Oh my God! How fun would it be? Listen, I have ideas. But no, I'm not cosplaying.
Lots of cardboard needed.
Doobity-doo. Doobity-doo.